Now, like in all Chinese cookery, we have to get the ingredients ready. So you can see already on the table that I have an arrangement of chopped garlics and garam masalas and curry powders, but I still need to chop my veggies. So I'm going to start off with a nice onion. Now, to make this curry outstanding and a little bit different to the ones that you normally get in a Chinese takeaway, we've got to give it a little bit of love and attention and care. So take your time with this. You know, this is part of the beauty of cooking. Enjoy yourself. So, and watch your fingers, because I nearly got my fingers. So I'm going to take off the outer layers of the skin. Technically, I could leave this in this dish because I'm making this enriched curry sauce and I'm going to sieve it off later. You can leave skin on at this point. This takes me back to working in my dad's restaurant, where we would literally be thrown a sack of onions weighing about 20 kilos. And by the time we'd finished peeling and chopping, our hands would be black, just down to the natural juices that come from the onion. And you'd wash your hands and 3 days later, it would still smell like onion, which is bizarre. I'm just gonna chop this into nice sizes. So when I saute it in the pan, it cooks down and it goes nice and soft. And we're gonna try and get a little bit of that caramelization. Now that caramelization is gonna create those natural, lovely sugars that we get from onion. There's my onion chopped. And for the carrot, I can leave the ends on because I am going to be sieving this out. And I'm just gonna chop these into slices. And it can be higgledy-piggledy because it's just there to give it, again, that natural background sweetness that we get from those carrots. Even if you wanted to add a little bit of celery, you could do, or any other veggies that you've got, really. So the more veggies we put in, the more love we give this dish, the greater it's gonna taste. Now guys, the bigger the wok, the better. And I'm only saying that because you're not always going to be cooking just for yourself. And as soon as someone knows you know how to cook Chinese takeaway food at home, you're going to be cooking for the street. So, heat on. And I'm just going to make sure my wok gets really hot before I add anything to it. Non-sticks, a little bit more forgiving, but still, nevertheless, let's cook like we're Chinese. Now, it's really, really important that when we start cooking, we fry our ingredients. As much as we're looking at softening the garlic and the onion when it goes in, and the carrot, we still need to be getting that caramelization. And so if we crowd our pan, that's not going to happen. I'm gonna add in a splash of oil, and I'm gonna get in my onion first of all. So, in that goes. Now, once my onion's in, I'm able to add my garlic. I didn't want to add the garlic at the very, very beginning because I'm not tossing this away. The chances are I would have burnt it. So I add my garlic in now. And this is just some finely minced garlic. The more that we chop the garlic down, the more intense the flavour. So if you're not a garlic fan, leave whole cloves and just cook off some cloves and you can pick them out. If you like that hit of garlic, chop it nice and fine and it's going to make all the difference. So now I can get in my carrots. And now I've got to give this time. For me to get those sugars out of those carrots, it's going to have to cook now for at least 8 to 12 minutes. Remember, when we serve this to our friends, our family, our loved ones, we want them to go, wow, that was amazing. That was better than any curry that I've ever had. So just give it about 20 or 30 seconds, just in between stirring, just so those, those vegetables are having that time on the bottom where the heat is, where it's at its most intense, just to get, that, oh yeah, I'm gonna give you some sugar, because that's all we're doing. My onions have softened, my carrots have softened, the garlic has released all of that lovely flavour. Now to get the heat back up again, and to get my curry powder into the pan, and we're just gonna cook that out just for a minute or so. Now, if you like a spicy curry, then use a hot curry powder. Personally, I go for medium. My mum, who likes korma, would go for a mild curry powder. And it really is down to your own preference, whether or not you like things hot or you like things a little bit more subtle. Now to this, I'm gonna add some plain flour. Now there's 2 tablespoons that's gonna go in, and this is just gonna help that curry sauce thicken. But because we are adding raw flour, we've got to cook this out. So I'm going to give it another minute or so now. You've got to watch this. We don't want things burning, and this is why I'm saying you've got to give things love and attention, just until I get the liquid in. Once I get the liquid in, I can then start to relax again. So I'm just going to turn the heat down ever so slightly, just making sure that that flour and curry powder is incorporated into these lovely softened vegetables. And then heat up. Let's get the stock in. Now you can use chicken stock, beef stock, vegetable stock if we're doing a vegetarian curry. Any stock you like. While that's coming up to the boil, I've got a bay leaf which is popping in. I've got some honey. So we'll just get all of that honey out of this little dish here. Now, if you're not a big fan of adding sugar or honeys to dishes, you could use agave syrup or a sweetener of your choice. That, it really is up to you. It may alter the flavour ever so slightly. Okay, and lastly, I'm just going to add a splash of soy sauce. This is a Chinese curry after all. So a little splash. I do like soy sauce. And now that's just going to simmer now for another 6 or 7 minutes. Now the simmering is just going to help some of that liquid evaporate. It's going to naturally thicken because of the flour that's in there. And the bay leaf's got time just to infuse this liquid. And this liquid will become that amazing curry sauce that I'm talking about. It's simmering away. I'm just going to turn it down ever so slightly. Now, our garam masala. By adding it at the very end, we're not cooking out all of those lovely spices that's in this garam masala. And this is why we're adding it just at the very, very end. Just to help that curry give it an extra little kick. Back in China, years and years and years ago, we had the Great Silk Road, or the Old Silk Road, which was a trading route where the Chinese would then take their silks along this Silk Road, and it'd go through Nepal and through India, and we get this, in every single country, there's a fusion of Chinese cuisine, and that's why we've got curry. I'm just gonna grab my saucepan. I'm literally just gonna pour this curry sauce into the sieve just to get rid of all these bits, because they've done their thing now. They've been cooking away now for a good 20 minutes, and they've released all their natural flavors. Just pop that there, and I'm just gonna push this sauce through my sieve. So, just try and save some of that. So there's my curry sauce made. Give it a quick taste. Ready for my beef, which is in the fridge tenderizing. If you want your beef to be melt in the mouth, try my secret method. Take your piece of beef. I prefer fillet, but the cut is entirely your choice. Slice into thin strips against the grain at a 45-degree angle, ensuring each piece is roughly the same size, as this will help it cook evenly. Cutting at an angle shortens the muscle fibre, which will help make the beef more tender. Place the beef into a large bowl and add corn flour along with dark soy sauce, Chinese rice wine and a squirt of sesame oil. Massage all of the ingredients into the beef until the liquid has been absorbed. Be patient, as this can take up to 2 to 3 minutes of massaging. Cover and place into the fridge for at least 2 hours, but ideally overnight to marinate. Give it a good sniff, as it smells amazing at this stage. I've promised you a beef curry that's going to be amazing. That's actually going to be better than your local Chinese takeaway. And the reason being is that our beef has been marinating in the fridge for 2 hours. When I put the beef in here, I want it to sizzle, I want it to spit, I want it to caramelize near enough instantly, and it will happen quickly. So everything has to be ready. Yeah, my onions are chopped, my mushrooms are ready, I've got all my seasonings, and we are going to season this for the reason being is that we've just spent all this time injecting flavor into the curry sauce. We've got to do the same now with these little veggies here, okay? Oil at ready, hand hovering, just waiting for that heat, just to get that little bit too unbearable to stay too long, and in goes the oil. Now just using my spoon, I'm just going to help break this beef apart just ever so slightly, And then be careful because this will splash and it will sizzle. And I'm just gonna fan the meat out just so it's in contact with that hot wok, with the hot oil. And I'm just gonna get it to caramelize and just color and seal it. Quick toss. Now, in a curry, your onions should be sweet but soft. So this is gonna happen quickly. In go my onions. And I'm only going to soften these. So a quick toss around. I'm not really trying to get any colour at the moment. I'm literally just softening. Now in goes my mushroom. A quick toss. Now, pinch of sugar. That's just going to help with those onions and that sweetness. A little pinch of salt. Now I've gone quiet because my attention is all in this pan, you know. I've taken that time to make that sauce. I've taken the time to marinate the beef. In go my peas. The peas are there more for colour than anything else, okay? Remember, we eat with our eyes. Now, in for this lovely, rich curry sauce that we made earlier. Don't want to waste any of this, so I'm going to scrape this pan out. And as soon as this comes to the boil, we're ready to go. And there we have it. My beef curry served on top of a bowl of steaming boiled rice.